It was nearing Halloween on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were getting prepared for the big night ahead. Even Timothy had returned from the Magic Railroad to help out with the festivities. Thomas was waiting at a red signal with his passengers and Annie, Clarabelle, and his special coach when Bill and Ben came up. "Hello, Bill and Ben. Are you excited for Halloween?" "Oh, yes, we are," said Bill. "We are indeed." "But you should be a little worried, Thomas." "Why should I be worried?" "Because we heard a legend of a scrap monster." "Yeah, it's a monster made of scrap metal that goes around the railway, scaring other engines." "Ha," said Thomas, "you two are making this legend up." Soon enough, the signal changed to green, and Thomas was on his way. "Now, if you excuse me, I've got my passengers to deliver." Thomas didn't believe in our story about the scrap monster, Ben. "Quite right, Bill. So we'll have to prove it." Just then, the two tank engines saw two flat trucks in the siding. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking? If you're thinking we collect those two trucks and take them to the scrapyard and collect a lot of scrap to make it look like a scrap monster, then yes." Soon enough, Bill and Ben collected the trucks and headed off to the scrapyard to collect the scrap they needed for their prank. Soon enough, Bill and Ben arrived at the scrapyard. "Oi, Reg." "What is it, Ben?" "We need to collect a load of scrap. Can you get the scrap for us? We were told to collect a big order, so Topham Hatt's orders." Of course, this was not true, but Reg didn't know that. Okay, you two." And so Reg got to work collecting the scrap and loading it onto Bill and Ben's trucks. By the time Reg was done, Bill and Ben had a great amount of scrap on their trucks, and it looked a whole lot like a monster. It was scary, menacing, and horrifying. "Those other engines are in for a big scare tonight, Bill." "Indeed, Ben. Now let's get going." And with that, Bill and Ben chuffed away with their load. "I hope the scrap gets to where it needs to," said Reg. "Oh, right, sure," said Ben. But what they didn't know was that Timothy was having a rest at the timber yard, and he had seen everything that had been going on. That night, Bill and Ben put their scrap monster prank into action. They hid inside the tunnel, and their scrap monster was placed outside the tunnel so that the engines would see it. Gordon was returning to Knapford after taking the late-night express when he saw something. And it was the scrap monster. "It's a monster!" wailed Gordon, and he raced away as fast as he could. But he didn't know Bill and Ben were hiding inside the tunnel. Percy was also delivering the mail when he saw the scrap monster too. "Monster!" wailed Percy, and he raced away as fast as he could. But he didn't notice Bill and Ben inside the tunnel either. The two naughty tank engines were having great fun. The next morning, Gordon and Percy were telling the other engines about what they had seen. "It was terrible," said Gordon. "All menacing and horrifying," said Percy. "Maybe Bill and Ben were right," said Thomas. "Maybe there is a scrap monster lurking on the railway after all." And all the engines at Tidmouth Sheds agreed with Thomas. Later that day, Philip was shunting trucks at Knapford when Timothy came up to him. "Hello, Philip. How are you doing today?" "Oh, hello, Timothy, and, well, I'm not doing so good." "Oh, why ever not?" "I just heard that there's a monster looking around the railway. Gordon and Percy saw it last night." Timothy sighed. "That monster is one of Bill and Ben's pranks. I saw them collecting scrap at the scrap yard yesterday when I was taking my rest at the timber yard, and the scrap looked like it was in the shape of a monster." Philip was cross. "Oh, those cheeky twins. They're always playing pranks on us. Oh, just wait till I get my buffers on them." Now, Philip. I think I might have a way to pay them out." "Really? How?" He whispered something to Philip. Philip smiled. That night, Philip and Timothy put their plan into action to get back at Bill and Ben. They had found a tarpaulin earlier and asked a workman if they could borrow it, so they agreed, and Timothy was sheeted in the tarpaulin thanks to Philip and Timothy's crews. "You look like a ghost," said Philip. "Indeed," said Timothy. "That's the idea." "Well, I'm off to go find those cheeky twins." "Hope the plan works," said Philip. That night, Bill and Ben were puffing around the railway with their scrap monster. "Who should we prank with our scrap monster next, Ben?" "I don't know, Bill. Let's hope we find someone soon." Just then they heard a whistle and puffing coming up behind them. "Who's there?" asked Ben. They saw it was Timothy, all draped in the tarpaulin, and he was blowing his whistle long and loud. "Oh no!" cried Ben. "It's the ghost engine! Come on, Bill, let's get out of here." "Right, come on, Ben." And with that, Bill and Ben raced away as fast as they could, with their scrap monster in tow. "It's only me, you two," said Timothy. Bill and Ben raced away as fast as they could, horrified for their lives. They were racing so fast they weren't paying attention. And they didn't know that some points ahead were switched against them. Until it was too late. No one was hurt, but Bill and Ben were off the tracks, and their drivers and firemen had jumped clear as well. The next morning, Den and Dart brought the breakdown train to help clean up the mess. "Don't worry, you two, we'll get, What he means to say is that we'll get you two back on the rails in no time, so that way you can take into the works for repairs. But I think you two are in a lot of trouble." "Indeed you are," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Bill and Ben, I know you played this prank deliberately. Timothy over here told me that you two wanted to use this scrap monster to scare the other engines. I know it is close to Halloween, and I know you want to have a little fun, but there is a fine line between fun and confusion. And what you two have caused is nothing but confusion and delay with this prank." "Yes, sir. We're sorry, sir," said Bill and Ben. "Before you two go to be repaired, I want you two to take your scrap monster back to the scrap yard where it belongs, and then you two can go to the works and be repaired." "Yes, sir. Of course, sir," said Bill and Ben. And so, after Bill and Ben were re-railed, they took their scrap monster back to the scrapyard, and then they puffed, limping away to get repairs at the steamworks. When the other engines heard about Bill and Ben's scrap monster prank from Timothy, they laughed too. I knew there was something suspicious about that scrap monster, said Percy. Indeed, said Gordon. Well, we shall never listen to silly stories like Bill and Ben's scrap monster story ever again, said Thomas, and all the other engines wholeheartedly agreed.